What's happening, everybody? Welcome, surfers of the thrifting board. Thanks for joining us tonight on a Tuesday little webinar. Cheers to you for hanging out with us. And tonight we're not going to talk thrifting tonight, although it will weave its way in a little bit because I've got a story to relate to what the boys are doing here. So with us tonight is Dan Meadors and Eric Lambert. They're the boys, and they're going to talk to us all about wholesale and what is a different avenue for most of us who hang out in the thrifting board, because most of us are thrifters who sell on eBay with some Amazon, some Etsy, some Craigslist, some Bonanza thrown in. But if you want to go to the next level, and it's not always, guys, it's not always you want to, but sometimes you have to. There are some people in some certain situations where what I do and what they do like me isn't enough, and they got to ramp it up because, kids going to college, got to pay for a wedding, stuff like that. So this might be that answer. This might be that answer. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. And we're going to talk about rum made in Kentucky.
Always a good thing.
And beer made in Wisconsin. There you go.
Yep,
see?
Wisconsin.
We're one big happy country. So how you guys doing tonight?
Fantastic, man. Anytime we get to come on and hang out with you, super exciting. So pumped to be here.
Oh, well, thanks. So to relate to my crew that just tuned in, have you guys, so before we get to why we're actually here, did you guys, have you thrifted? Have you sold your thrifted goods? Do you garage sale?
Now, we've definitely thrifted in terms of, I've bought books, and Eric's done it a lot more than I have. As far as like going to a lot of garage sales and stuff like that and picking up some real cool stuff.
Yeah, I've got some super soaker. I sold some old school Laramie, I'm not sure, super soakers. And so I did it for a little while before we, as a hobby to get some extra money. And it worked out pretty good. And I taught some people, a mother and a cousin, how to do it. So yeah, it's definitely a sweet way. And it's fun too. Like you have the thrill of the hunt, that's the spoiler alert, what we're going to teach you. It's not very exciting. It's not very glamorous. It's not, but you don't get the big, 50 cents and the $50. That's always exciting. I know, and we can relate to it. In fact, I believe our first used book that we sold on Amazon with our account was this North American Owls book that we'd found in like a rental. We could rent Penske's or whatever. They had this odd section of used books, and the thing went for like $80 or whatever. And we probably paid $2. So I definitely can relate to it for sure. One of our buddies, like we always hang out. He had a store here downtown, and we funny story. We actually originally owned it, but sold it to him. He was one of our employees, and he did real well with it, loved it, and he was really, really into thrifting. Like he would always, vintage toys was his thing. He would always find super cool Transformers and stuff like that. He still has just a sickening amount of awesome stuff.
Well, that's cool. And so you did that a little bit. So you understand it. And Eric said it perfectly. It's the thrill of the hunt. Yeah. And wholesale, that thrill is not there. So you might have to scratch that itch some other way. Because, if you're ordering 1,000 items of one thing, you're getting that 1,000. There is no little, oh, look what I just found in this little box,
It's like, it's kind of like hunting with a tank. That's how wholesale is.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's a good example. All right, we got a good little turnout tonight. 112 surfers here from the thrifting board, so that's very cool. I see people making cocktails. I see my friends all over the country tuning in. So let's talk wholesale. So you guys, now, if you didn't see, Dan was on Thrifty Business with Jay and A couple of weeks ago with a crappy connection, but if you watch, you can still get through it. But we talked a little bit about there, but we'll start out where they decided to make the leap and what it cost to make the leap. So I'm going to tell my quick story, what I haven't told in a while, because I'm kind of in the same boat, not at the level of you guys, but it was, I took $20 in 2000. And because of that $20 and the thought in my head, the three of us are hanging out tonight because I just got laid off from a job I loved. And I was very mopey and laying around the house. I was on unemployment, but I wasn't sure what to do. And I was at a record store and they had a table full of dollar CDs. And I'm like, these CDs are worth more than $1. And half.com had just started, and I'm like, I bet I can make some money. And so I bought 20 CDs for $20 and took them home, and every one of them sold for like $8 or $9. So I was clearing like $6 a CD, give or take. And I'm like, hey, that was easy. That was a quick $120 profit. But keep doing that, and I did. But I always ended up having regular jobs, and so my son online for many years was just in between. My wife's job kept us moving around, so we'd move, and I set up shop and sell. And then about 10 years ago, I'm like, why am I busting my ass for someone else? This is ridiculous. Like, I worked at a backbreaking job, so I realized soon that I was like, this is no. I was humping hot tubs in backyards in Vegas. And if you've never been to Vegas, every backyard's walled in. So to get a hot tub in the backyard, you have to crane it over the house, hope you don't lose it in the house, and then get it landed.
Oh,
and
wow.
And usually people are buying the summertime to get ready for winter time. And so it's 120 degrees and you're pushing it into place. And I said, screw it. And I finally quit. And the next month I made just as much money sitting in this chair in my underwear selling online. I'm like, what was I doing? Mm-hmm. So from that point, I then really ramped up. And so I took my business up and I started teaching others. And that's why we're here today. So you guys kind of did the same thing, but you did it in a much shorter window and with much larger returns.
Well, I mean, we whenever we left our jobs, we'd been selling on Amazon for about. I want to go back to your story. Whenever you actually made that first purchase with $20, I was still in high school.
I was already married for years, unemployed,
Don't worry, man. This guy's super old. He's super old too. So
I was.
But yeah, we whenever we got started, we left our jobs and we'd been selling on Amazon about 5 months, and we went through a Q4, and it done super well. Everybody sells more in Q4. It probably wasn't the best decision ever, but we started with retail arbitrage, and I think that's where the majority of people do start at, because it's relatively low risk and it doesn't take a lot of capital to really get into it. So we continued doing that for a few years, and did $800K and a little over $800K and a little over $900K in 2012 and 2013. But the problem is, I'll be honest with you, we felt like you did when you were humping those cranes over houses in Vegas. Like we were to do that kind of numbers with retail arbitrage in our area, you got to be getting on it. You got to be shopping. Every day on the road, out all over the place, because we're here in Corbin, and we have one Walmart, we have one Kmart, one Walgreens, and a Rite Aid, and then the rest is Dollar General stores. We have like 6 of those. That's it, though. No Targets.
And let me pause you there, because that's a good point. I live in a very decent-sized city. Now, it's not one of the biggest, but definitely Vegas is up there in terms of we have so much. And the city's not big, but there's so much here because there's so many people that move in and out all day long. So every little nook and cranny has to have a Walmart and a Target and a Costco. And you guys are out in the boonies, and I know a lot of my peeps are in the boonies. I got surfers up in North Dakota. They don't have a lot of choices. So to be able to do something where you pretty much don't have to leave the comfort of your desk, that's a great thing.
Yeah, I honestly, I just had my second kid, and we were on the road nonstop, and it was, we were making good money. But at the end of the day, when we stopped going out, our sales dropped, and there was no recovery. It was literally based trading time for dollars. And so 2014, we knew we had to make a change, and we started looking at wholesale as a model. And we made a whole bunch of goofy errors when we were getting in, and just not knowing, getting into it. But once we kind of found our footing, so to speak, it was the growth potential we saw was just unlike anything we'd ever witnessed in our lives. We started our first real shipment of wholesale hit in July, and by it's about October, November, wasn't it? Whenever we knew that it was that direction we wanted to go. Yeah. And we at that point we were like, hey man, we're just going to run through this Q4 because we already prepped for it all year long. We know how profitable it is. We'll run through it, and then we'll really just knuckle down on wholesale. So we did that. We did that right there. We knuckled down through quarter four, did all the shopping we could, and really tried to set ourselves up to have the best possible quarter four we could. And after that, it was starting in January for 2015, we were 100% wholesale, and have really never looked back. And in that year, we did about $3.9 million in sales, and that was up from about 1.3 the previous year.
So you tripled. All right, but let's back up because, and I should have stopped you right away because I know some people, especially from my gang, they're new to this, and they asked, Linda asked, what is arbitrage? So the simplest way is you go to a store, buy something, and then flip it online.
Right.
So as the boys were saying, they got to drive everywhere to find it because they live in a very rural area.
Right.
How many miles were you doing when you guys were doing this?
I mean, we drove to New York. We've driven to, because I mean, we had to hit major areas, and the way we weren't as honestly, we weren't as skilled as somebody like you. I mean, there's whenever you walk into a store, you see the value of different items jumps out at you. Like, we were really, really good at toys, but toys and clearance items were about all we did. So if it wasn't on clearance and it wasn't a toy, it didn't just jump out to us as like, whoa, that's a killer deal. Which made obviously for really good quarter fours, but the rest of the year was selling toys in summer is not the most exciting thing. I'll say that. But whenever we jumped into wholesale, and I'll tell you what wholesale is too. So wholesale is dealing directly with a manufacturer or distributor and buying a commercial quantity of goods for resale. So it's just buying. Like, what we try to do is we try to buy directly from the brand owner to sell online.
I mean, even arbitrage is kind of like a hybrid between thrifting and wholesale, because like you still had those finds. You'd find the old Pirates of the Caribbean Lego set, and it'd be $60 going for $350. There'd be some discontinued items, so you still would find the occasional sweet home run, the exciting thing. So that wasn't the overall majority of our finds, but when you still could get that little bit of scratch that itch, so to speak, in terms of finding the. I tell you, a great one for us was the CD Walkman. I know Jason knows. He's old enough to know it, and hopefully the viewers are. But it's a portable CD player well before MP3s came around. And Walmart still had one of those, and the manufacturer date was the 07. We looked on the back, and it was like $30 or something, and as a Sony, and online it was $300 because those just don't exist anymore. I mean, it's new in package, so. It was cool. We had fun with that some too.
Right. I mean, we did find some awesome stuff. I remember what was those little dudes called? The little guys we were buying at Big Lots and selling for
Munchkins,
Minions, Little Einsteins.
Little Einsteins toys.
Yeah.
Here, pro tip: if you guys are out there thrifting and you see used Little Einsteins toys, those things are absurdly expensive. Definitely check them out.
Mm-hmm. A prime example of retail arbitrage and right place, right time, and being lucky. If you are familiar with Chewbacca Mom, if you're not familiar with Chewbacca Mom, then you've been under a rock for a year. But Chewbacca Mom was a lady who bought a Chewbacca mask that was already at Kohl's in the closeouts. So it was retail at full price at normal stores, and then moved to Kohl's. And she bought it and just did a Facebook Live type thing to her friends, and it took off. And it went from the Kohl's closeouts to everyone had to have them. So it was already discounted. And then all of a sudden that mask was going for 4 times retail. Oh. So if you happen to have some, or you were near a Kohl's before it really hit, then you lucked out. And that's where you're kind of using your brain to arbitrage. But then again, because I even tried a little bit, I was a little too late. We hit a couple Kohl's around town. So I put miles in my car for nothing because that's all I was looking for. I looked for nothing else. I was just like, I got to find some masks. And then they weren't there. They were already sold out. And I saw all these other people wandering through the stores going, section. Yeah. So everyone was trying to do it. Now, that's a lot of work. That's a lot of hope it's going to be there. And I saw people calling from one store to another while they were there. And but the next step, like the boys are talking about, is wholesale is a little easier because you're not doing all that bullshit work.
Right. We tried several ways to do wholesale. We tried the traditional way of Googling wholesaler. I promise you that did not work for us. I would probably tell you to avoid doing it. You'll get these gigantic catalogs that are just full of different junk that no rhyme or reason as to what people carry, and they just have huge amounts of stuff. And then we went to ASD, and we didn't have a clue what we were doing. It was, oh my God. Like, we walked around like pretty aimlessly, didn't have any idea of where vendors were set up and stuff like that. Rick says, "What is ASD? It's a trade show that's in Vegas. It's actually in Jason's hotel. If you go, you get to hang out with Jason."
That's the only good thing about ASD for us.
Yeah.
So ASD fills the convention center here in Vegas. It is just millions of products. Like, you have never seen so much product in your life. And it's all sectioned off. So, like, here's health and beauty, here's purses, here's toys, here's smoking accessories. And then you go and you try and cut deals that, of course, you can then make money on. Two good things, as the boy said, is we always throw a party at the Tiki Bar and hang out for all night. And I speak every year at ASD, typically about eBay and stuff like that. And they've asked me back yet again. And I'm such the one to push the envelope. I worked the word pee into my title, and it went through. When I say pee, I mean to urinate, and it flew. And so when you see the manual, it'll have my title will be "Virtual assistants are great, but what happens when your dog has to pee?"
That's awesome.
So if you're coming for ASD, let me know. We're gonna have a party, and I'm speaking. But go ahead, boys.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So our first ASD experience was a nightmare. We walked around the trade show, just humping up and down aisles, and this place is humongous. It's humongous, and we would go in booths and scan stuff, and people would look at us funny, and it just made honestly, it's just an uncomfortable experience. But when we went back to our hotel room, it was like, hey man, like we paid a bunch of money for our plane tickets. We paid for our hotel rooms. We need to go do something. And honestly, I think that's the worst mindset, is trying to force something to be good. We went back in there the next day and made some pretty suspect purchases. Like, it seemed like it was going to be good at the time, but honestly, like when we got back, like most of the products were beaten to death, starting to get hammered on Amazon. And all we ended up with was, some we made money on, some we lost money on. I'm pretty sure overall we just lost money, and just ended up with pairs of sore feet. Honestly, we're the real, at that point it was like a real distaste for wholesale. It's like, oh my God, this is awful. Like, I guess we're just going to be doing retail arbitrage more. And that kind of led us to what we do now. And it honestly, he said it earlier, and it's like, the form of wholesale that we do is actually hard to call wholesale at this point. It's a bit different than it's just a bit different than what people's perception is. And how we do it is we were sitting in front of a computer one day, and we were like, hey man, this wholesale thing, I'd love to make it work. It just doesn't seem like it's going to work for us. Some product we were looking at, and it was like, hey, this is the product I want to buy. I wonder why I can't just buy this product or know who sells it. So we called the manufacturer. We decided we were going to call the manufacturer and ask them, who sells this? Where can we buy it? Like, we're a retailer. We want to buy this product. We had no idea where to buy it. And they were like, hey man, we can set you up with an account. Like, we definitely sell direct to retailers. And it's like, what in the hell? Like, it's that easy? And at that point, I mean, honestly, just mind blown. It was we were just like, oh my God, this is going to be so easy. Like, we're going to have an empire. And we placed that order. The smooth, went super well. Like nothing. And that at that point it was. Now it's like me and Eric we just got to find as many products as we want to carry and set up accounts with all of them and just start ordering. And this is gonna be amazing. Well, we ran into some complications. It wasn't quite as easy as we anticipated. And as it turns out, I felt like we got a little lucky on that one. But he can tell you about some of the awesome complications we ran into.
Well, I mean, the thing is, we thought these people just want our money. That's the thing is, I don't like to call it traditional wholesale, because most people think of wholesaling, you buy from a distributor, and a distributor is somebody who's going to carry a lot of different brands, a lot of different SKUs, and all they really care about is getting as many orders, selling as many products, and that's it. They don't necessarily care where the product goes, what channel it sells on, for what price, as long as you're buying it the most money you can afford from them. And so when we started sourcing direct from the brand owner, the manufacturer, what we found is it's not necessarily, that mindset is not there. Oftentimes they greet you at the door with, no more Amazon sellers, please. We don't want any more Amazon sellers. And at this point, we didn't know what we were doing, but ultimately we came up to actually enjoy hearing that, because, we tend to agree with you. You don't need any more. You need better ones. You need us. You need to get the platform under control. It's tell us about your experience. Why is it poor? Why are you not, having success on that channel? This is the largest growing commerce platform in the world, and you need to be in the forefront of it, and we can help with these things with because we are, we know Amazon. That's what we know. And so we found out that it's less about, we had this money. It's like, no, we can just buy more. We can buy more there. We're not interested in just selling more. We're interested in protecting our brand. I mean, this is something that a lot of the products that we focus on are niche products. They're not necessarily like Bosch and Lambert or some of these, these large brands where I can't really do any service to them in terms of like Amazon representation or otherwise. It's more, niche products that they probably created or developed this product over time, has some intellectual property, or something they've really nurtured, something they're very proud of, something they want to protect. And so when you come at them with that approach and understanding that we want to help you, we want to create a mutually beneficial experience where we make money, you make money, your brand has carries the weight and integrity that you like. And so once we started coming at it from that angle, adapting that strategy, refining it over time, we've been much more successful, and it's created, long-term income returns for us. Because when you start off the conversation, because what we used to do at the beginning was like, no, Amazon, no, we sell, on our storefront, or just, all these little cloak and dagger type, but they never last. Sooner or later you're found out, and then, that revenue stream is gone. So we've realized that being upfront and honest and just working from the perspective of, hey, we're just trying to do the best that we can on Amazon for your product. And, our success from that point has just been phenomenal.
Let me ask you a question, Jay. I mean, I think I can make this relate to your audience. It's a lot like, let's say that I'm just a lazy eBay seller. I just take pictures. I slap stuff up there.
Okay, you're a lazy eBay seller that just slaps pictures up there. Now what?
Don't you start. you remain under control, my friend. A little new Glarus into me starts getting. Anyway, now, am I going to be able to sell products as effectively as, say, you, who obviously spends time?
No, you might luck out, catch a few good ones, but over the long haul, definitely not, because it will catch up to you. If you take crappy pictures and people get the products, like I got this today, a very rare tiki mug, and there's a little chip in the top that was not mentioned, nor can I see in the pictures. So it won't be a deal breaker, but we will be having a conversation, me and the seller, a little bit later on, because when I pay a couple $100 for a tiki mug, it better be in good condition, or at least I better know the condition. Right. So exactly, this is going to catch up to him that he didn't take the best pictures, because I went back and looked, and where the chip is, that angle was never taken in any of the shots. Now it's very tiny. It's just on the tip of this leaf. It's not that big of a deal, but I could easily send it back, easily file an item not as described. I don't really want to, but we will have a little chit chat. And so if he continues to do that, yes, he will not be long for eBay, because he will eventually get run out of town by enough unhappy customers.
Right, and it's the same concept with Amazon sellers, and the majority of manufacturers' experiences with them. Like, what tends to happen is an Amazon seller comes in and they're like, hey, I want to place an order, and then they go and they don't do anything. It's just a pure transaction. It's I buy your stuff and I sell it here, and there's nothing, there's no differentiator. Whereas our approach is we try to help them identify issues and problems that will help their product sell better. Like if their product's selling, say, 50 times a month right now, then our goal is to help that product, say, sell 200 times a month or 150 times a month by doing very simple stuff. It's like super easy crap that everybody can actually do. You're talking about taking pictures. Like that's one of the things that we use to entice manufacturers. And anybody can take a picture. It's not, or you could outsource it. Like that's the thing, it's outsourceable. If you're good at this kind of stuff, by all means, like that's something you can tell them. Like, hey man, like look at your Amazon listing. You have one picture up, and it doesn't, that's not selling your product. You can have 6 pictures, and you can have them be, action shots and things that actually make people motivated to buy product. Right. So, it's not even right. It's not like it's rocket science to.
Clearly, because.
Right, because this guy does it.
Yeah. I set myself up with that.
You know what you guys are kind of remind me of right now? I hope you've seen the movie Tommy Boy.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
It's like you guys are fumbling along as Tommy for the first third of the movie, and then he's like, he gets it.
Yeah. It took a lot longer for him to get it.
He's Tommy.
No.
You guys found a way to entice manufacturers. Okay, great. You got tons of Amazon sellers. Do you have any good ones?
Right.
Because we can be your good one.
And that's the thing is most a lot of their Amazon sellers are more in that cloak and dagger mindset. They're definitely not helping them. And you have to think about this. Like if I go to an Amazon listing and there's one picture there, even if that product has 8 sellers selling it, how many have told them that they need more pictures?
Yeah.
0. Like literally 0. So, and here's the thing. If you look at Amazon listings, about, I would say 85% of them are at least
deficient.
In some capacity deficient, and in most capacities, like deficient in multiple areas. Like they have poor descriptions, they have poor pictures, they have poor bullet points, and there's just a lot of improvement that can be made there. And the fact of the matter is, they really do value the fact that you're willing to tell them these are some problems, and this is how I can help, because nobody's done it before.
We just to relate that. I think she's a newer member of the Thrifting Board. I'm not going to say her name, but she's like, hey, I'm not doing so well. Here's my store. Be gentle. And I responded before I gave her any tips. I go, do you want me to be gentle, or do you want to know how to fix your mess?
Right.
Because I don't got time for gentle. I do not have time to rub your shoulders and tell you how wonderful you are. That's the exact reason kids who used to audition for American Idol who couldn't sing is because mommy always told them they could sing. Well, guess what? My mommy told me I couldn't sing. I know I can't sing. I don't audition for American Idol. So I don't got time to tell you how wonderful and special you are, but I will tell you how to fix your shit. I always will. Because usually when someone's in a quandary, they're kind of faltering, a quick view without even getting deep, I go, all right, if you fix this, this, and this, you'll definitely have a better. And, back to it, it's usually pictures.
Yeah.
A crumpled up shirt on the floor is not going to sell that to anybody. So
you're going to have an experience because you can't touch, that the Amazon or eBay experience. So the more concise and the better story and the better you can convey your product, that's their only interaction with the product. So, that's why it sells, and that's why it's the most important part, of any online transaction.
Oh, absolutely. I want to back up though, because I know we have a few people who are really, really new to this, and so they have some questions that most of us know, but I want to make sure, because someone asked, is it better to FBA or ship yourself? And then that was quickly followed up with, hey, what's FBA? So here's what FBA is, and I'll start, and the boys can elaborate. You can sell on Amazon pretty much 2 ways. What I do most of, and I have done FBA, and we'll get to that in a second, is called merchant fulfilled. If you see all these CDs over my shoulder right here, these are all listed on Amazon. If it sells, then Amazon tells me, hey, Jay, your CD sold, please ship it. And then I ship it to the buyer. Amazon has charged the buyer for my CD and a shipping fee. FBA is fulfillment by Amazon. You send your products to Amazon, and then somewhere in a warehouse, there's a little shelf that says Jason T. Smith. And then when it sells, they ship it for me. So there's no work for me to do. Once I've got my product to Amazon, there ain't no work for me to do. And that's what the boys here are talking about. And they even get it to it. That's the whole point, is get it to Amazon, let them sell it. You want to do as little work as possible.
Yeah. Particularly the thing about, thrifting and stuff, you're going to have a higher price point, the transaction, the profit, but it may be a little bit more long tail. Like you're waiting for the right buyer, to buy your product, versus ours are more commodity based in the sense that, like, these are things that are selling hundreds of times each month, every month. So I don't want to be packing and shipping 100, 150 of every single different product we carry every month. And that's what makes the FBA infrastructure and logistical. I mean, it's really opened it up for people to expand it and scale our business, because, like you said, you put it all in this huge box, send it to Amazon, and then they ship it in the small boxes to the end user. So, and it's very, like I said, like I mentioned earlier, it's not the sexiest of businesses. It's not selling a bottle of shampoo that I bought for $6 that I'm making $10 on, making $3 or $4 and selling 100 or 150 a month is not the sexiest thing, versus, selling this tiki mug that you found, that some guy, probably found over at the Goodwill for $3, and now you got you suckered in for 200. So, like, I mean, that's more appealing. That's more attractive.
Wait, I got suckered in?
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Wait, what?
There's a forward and slip. No,
That's it. I'm out here. Delete.
No, that's
actually, marketed well. That mug's worth 400. So
wow.
I can make it. If I want to sell, I can make it 150. But you're so right, because what I realized when I was buying those dollar CDs, even though I wasn't making huge profit per, I started selling 300 to 500 CDs a month.
Right.
And so I'm making $6 to $7 to $8 per CD times 300 to 500 a month. That's a lot of money for sitting at home, being unemployed, golfing in the morning with the guys, shipping CDs when I get home. I'm like, just online selling shit's cool. And that was back in 2000.
I'm telling you, it's sweet.
So you guys started 5 years ago, give or take, right?
Yeah, it was. I think we started full time in January 2012 with the retail arbitrage model.
And then once you realize this is a lot of work dragging our ass all over half of the country, you switched to wholesale, and now you guys get to enjoy family time and gym time and cooking burgers in your warehouse, smoking some meats.
Yeah, it's I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty sweet. I mean, but we did put in a lot of hard work to get here. I mean, like the days of driving through the pits of Mississippi and Alabama late at night, is the mosquitoes are the size of small birds, and the humidity is just suffocating. But it was a lot of hard work. But we are getting to fortunately reap some of the benefits of the hard work we put in for like 2.5, 3 years.
To help people understand why we don't ship merchant fulfilled. You definitely can, and it's more significantly more common when you're doing eBay. Like you mentioned, you're able to wait on your price and sell items for a higher profit. Like, so it makes a lot more sense. With our model, we tend to sell, we're moving commodity goods hundreds of times a month. I'm gonna try to share the screen.
They'll trust you. I'm pretty sure you're gonna mess it up. I don't like you being in control of my computer particularly, but any computer. But what he's trying to get to the point is so far this month, from January 1 to January 17, we sold 17,469 units, which means we would have to ship 17,469 packages, which we couldn't have even accomplished if we'd started on January 1, shipping them every day. I mean, it's just not happening.
So the way our model works is we send, we send, let's say that I'm trying to sell this stapler. And this is probably as bland as some of the crap we actually do sell. But we'll send hundreds of units of that stapler to Amazon. And the way we try to base our inventory is, so I'd seen that question about it, was, they're asking, how much product do we have at Amazon? And we generally ship a 30-day supply. So, like, let's say that I expect to sell 200 units of that stapler in a month. We're going to ship about 200 units.
But what if it has 31 days in that month?
I mean, it wrecks me. Hopefully,
it has 28. Let's go the other way.
February, you've overstocked.
Oh, my God. We're wrecked. But, as far as that goes, what we're doing is we're just trying to send a pretty minimal quantity in. Last year, our turn rate was 42 days. Like, so we were selling through our entire inventory every 42 days.
That's
pretty good. That's a heck of a. I don't know. All my friends sell through, but to me, that seems like a pretty good, quick pace.
Yeah, we're very proud of it. I mean, we've worked very hard and make sure that systems are in place to make sure that happens, because it is a cash flow intensive.
And that's the key, because we had a little dust up when Dan was on our show. Like, oh, this seems too good to be true, you scammer. But you guys have worked hard at it. It's not like you started yesterday and you're able to sit back and enjoy family time and go into the gym and stuff. You worked very hard at it, and you built it to this.
Right. I mean, it's not overnight by any stretch of the imagination.
This is not you were drinking beer like Pamela Anderson and the Kiss Cam caught you in the stands. Next thing you know, you're a superstar. No, this was hard work. Yeah. This was hustling. This was a lot of hustle.
Yeah. But where it's really kind of paid off is we did do all that hustle. We were out there finding products ourselves, we're packing and shipping products ourselves and things like that. But the thing that I truly love about wholesale and what really makes it awesome for us is that everything is built on a system. Like if a product fits this criteria, we buy it. If it doesn't, we don't. If it does fit that criteria, we're looking to see how many units we're expecting to sell, and that's how many units we order. It's almost like a checklist. Once we did that, we were able to start letting virtual assistants, employees, and things like that take over that aspect of our business. And now you're right, it is significantly easier, but it didn't start that way.
Yeah, it's amazing, because I feel the same way. I mean, I work a lot harder than you, make a lot less, but a lot of the things I do, I really thoroughly enjoy helping people, and it's all part of my formula. And my formula has expanded from it used to be just eBay with some Amazon to all kinds of different online revenues, and it's starting to catch up where all of a sudden I have the surplus of money sitting around. That's a good thing to have.
Right.
And I convinced my wife I should go buy my dream car because I'm having a midlife crisis. And she agreed, and because by the time it rolls in, because it'll take about 5 months from when I ordered it, I'll almost be able to pay cash, and maybe I will be able to pay cash, but only because of the hard work I did years ago is all kind of compiling it, and it's finally getting to the point where I can't take a 10-day vacation in Maui in the middle of December because I got someone working for me, and I got all my shit rolling. And so things I could never have done before, and not that it's ideal, but I did it, and my business didn't come to a crumble. As a matter of fact, I had my best December in a lot of years. So
hell yeah.
Bravo.
It's the hard work does pay off in the long run. And my dream car is not a car; it's actually a truck. Because I saw somebody ask, is the all new for 2017 Ford Raptor?
Okay.
Oh yeah,
that was nice.
Are you gonna dick it out, race it up?
Heck yeah! I'm a from the country in Ohio. Heck yeah, redneck all the way.
Yeah, we know about that. Yeah, absolutely.
So someone was asking what the buy box is, and I was trying to.
Okay.
I'm going to try and do a screen share.
Here we go.
Oh, yes. You got more faith in Jason than me.
Well, it's just my computer. So, not that I have more faith. I just care less about what happens.
But do you have more faith?
Yeah, actually, I do also have more faith.
All right, so let's do a little screen share, and that's what I want to share. Oh. All right, are you seeing it?
Yeah, we got it.
Yep.
Okay, so this Haunted Mansion CD is one I have for sale, and this is the buy box right here. Do you see my mouse scroll around?
Yes.
Okay, so that's the buy box right there for those of you who don't know. And what you want to be is the one in the buy box, and that means when someone just clicks add to cart, that it'll be yours that gets added to the cart and no one else's. As you can see, there are 10 sellers selling it new and 3 sellers selling it used. Now, if you click on this, I do not own the buy box. MP2011 gets a little ahead of me there, and I'm not sure why. But if I knock mine down by a penny,
you
had the buy box, bro.
You had the buy box.
You had the buy box.
Yeah.
I did. It's me. My bad. Yeah. So sorry, geez, you guys had to point out it was me. See, there it is. So I own the buy box. That means if someone's just quick, because a lot of us like to purchase quick.
Right.
you'll be me. And I actually sold one of these today. So
about 80%. It's about 80% of sales.
This is a prime example of retail arbitrage. I was at Disneyland. I picked up this CD retail from their stores, but it's the only place you can pick it up is in Disneyland. Then I bring and I throw it up on Amazon and I make some money. And I bought a bunch. So it's not a huge profit. Once I get them all listed, they're just sitting on the shelf. As they sell, I ship them.
Yeah, nice.
Now, here's the real key. How the hell do I unshare screen? Oh, there it is. I got it. All right.
But yeah, I mean, it's that simple. That's the buy box right there. Now, the way the buy box works, I thought I saw it earlier. Is how does the buy box work? And it's if Jason's selling that CD for $29.98, me and Eric, or me, I'm selling it for $29.98, and Eric's selling it for $29.98. Effectively, we're assuming that product sells 100 times. We'll each get about 33 of those sales.
Way to pick a number not divisible by 3. That's well done. Well done. Like 90 would have been, bravo. But
I mean, I was doing my best.
There it is.
Did you see it, Rick? Did you see it wreck me right there? It was like, this.
Wait a minute.
Well, I mean, I obviously get the extra sale.
There it is. 34, 33, 33.
Right.
Okay.
So, but I mean, yeah, that's how it works. Like, as long as if you're competitively priced, your items are going to sell, and they can actually sell predictably. And that's the beautiful part. That's what makes this business incredibly scalable. Is the fact that if you just follow a simple checklist, you can predict how many units of a product you're going to sell and be really close.
Yeah, and in fact, like I know somebody asked me earlier too, and it's how do we pick products and identify how they sell and stuff like that's all explained in those videos. I know Jason, I think he linked it earlier, and he'll link it again before it's finished up. But watch those videos, and it'll show you exactly how we target products and how we determine products that we're interested in based on how many times we expect to sell them each month. It's really laid out much better, much more fluently than Dan can fumble through right here.
Yeah.
I just popped the link fresh in the chat, and I will also share it on the screen. Let me see if I can pull this off 2 times in a row.
And that's going to give you your most
boom 2 times in a row. I'm sharing screen. There we go.
Perfect. And yeah, you head over there, and that's going to give you a better explanation. And you're literally going to see exactly the tools we use and how we determine, what we want to sell. And that's what that says. It becomes predictable because the type of products we're targeting are selling, hundreds of times each month, and we expect to sell, 100 of those ourselves. So it's really predictable. The demand is there. It's month over month, and so it's the risk is low. You're probably spending more than you may in retail arbitrage, but the sales are virtually guaranteed because of the demand, the established demand of that product month over month. And there's a lot of great tools, a lot of great software, all of which is highlighted and shows you exactly in those videos.
Somebody asked this. I think it's a really super relevant question for the eBay crowd. What kind of margins do we typically work off of? And honestly, it can vary from business to business. Like if you have more capacity, you can lower your margins. If you're dealing with all this stuff yourself, you should probably raise your margins up because there's less of you to go around. But just to give you an idea, like obviously we run have a pretty sizable operation, and me and Eric, we landed right at about 10% net for the year. So
after overhead, payroll,
right,
Amazon fees, all the things that go into that whole metric.
So I mean, think of it that way, and that's running a business with a lot of overhead. You can run it from your house and get significantly less, and do so with significantly less overhead. So it's, again, margins are one of those things that you have to kind of decide on your own. Like I'm sure a lot of the people in your group operate on different margins than you do, Jay. And,
yeah.
It's the same in the Amazon community.
And here's a prime example. So this weekend, I'm driving to LA. I am vending at a tiki event. It's essentially like a tiki swap meet. So you go to flea markets, you see everything. Well, at this flea market, it's all just tiki stuff. So there'll be tiki carvers, there'll be mug makers, lamp makers, and some of us, like me, selling secondhand goods. And so I vetted this one before, and I priced my stuff according to market. So if this glass is worth $20, I will price it at $20, but I'll do a little wheel and deal because it's a cash business. And then I'll bring rare stuff and price it high. But what happened was I was at an event where I was speaking at, but I sold a little bit. And the stuff I was selling was a little bit lesser priced. And it went so fast, people were fighting each other for it. And I had this epiphany right at that moment where, all right, my next one I vend at, which this was an epiphany I had back in May, I'm going to go a model of only everything's $10. So I might be selling a $15 mug for $10, but I also might be selling an $8 mug for $10. But I felt that I can make just as much, if not more money on quantity instead of taking the time and also the manpower to then price everything individually. And I realized a few things were even worth 10, so I bumped them to 5. I was going to do all 10s, but I got racks of clothes. But guess what? I'm making money on all those items, and I'm making anywhere from $3 to $7 profit. But if I sell hundreds of items, which I plan on doing, it'll be a nice Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, right.
So it's the same thing. I figured it out. I'm doing it a different way than you guys. I'm still curating my stuff by going thrifting, but I wanted to move a lot of it, and so I'm pricing it to move, working on the assumption I'm going to make my bank on quantity.
Right. And I mean, that's the same exact thing that we do. Somebody asked a really, really good question. And, a lot of people get really scared about this is how often does Amazon come onto our listings? Honestly, it's happened 3 times in 2 years. And, what do we do when it happens, Eric?
First, we obviously reach out to the manufacturer and ask them because I'll tell you at least one of the times they had no idea. Amazon had somehow procured it from an alternate channel, not from the manufacturer. The manufacturer was upset.
Yep.
But to ask them, hey, so you got a contract in place with Amazon? Is that something moving forward you're going to do? And if it's yes, then we're just done with the product. We can't compete. It's their sandbox, their rules, and I'll go play on another part of the playground.
Right. We'll liquidate that product and just never order it again.
Yeah. That's the beauty too, is like on a 30-day supply, liquidating at 10% below cost. It's not even it's a nominal amount, and you're done with the product, and it's on to to the next product, something else. So and it's fast because, like I said, it's the demand there. So your worst case scenario, if somehow Amazon moves in on it, you're still moving through the product very quickly. You've got your cash back, all or the largest part of it, and then you're reinvesting it into. And it happens so infrequently, like Dan mentioned, that it's something that just basically doesn't even happen.
About how many products are you guys selling? Different SKUs,
Okay. I think we have currently in stock around 650 different products. And
I see that question a lot from people who are really new to this, so I can see they want to grasp a number. Right. So they were like, do the guys have 3 items or 10,000?
And I'll tell you a secret. We started with 1. It's just the way this model is, and that's the thing is that where it differs from RA, where it lacks in sexiness, it makes up for in consistency. Because we restock over 95% of our products. We're still carrying products that we sourced in July
2014, baby.
We started this whole thing, and it really is like a portfolio building. Once I found a profitable product, I've worked it out with the manufacturer, and now it's just something it's a matter of restocking that every month. And now I'm getting this every month, and I found this product this month, and this product the next month, and they cumulatively move to the point where we're at today, where like 650 SKUs that we're actively in stock or actively restocking if somehow we're out of stock right now. So it doesn't happen overnight, but it does. It's consistent, and you build on top of it consistently. Like I said, we restock the very vast majority of our SKUs month over month.
I saw Linda's question a couple times, and it's, I think that's a big concern for a lot of people is at what point did you decide you needed to hire a person to work the business? Here's the thing. You can choose to never do it if you don't want to. It really depends on, we saw the opportunity, and we saw where, if we can remove these tasks from ourselves and just start replicating our process out, we can see huge growth. So, honestly, it kind of depends on what your goals are, and if you're overloaded. If you're overloaded, I don't care if you're doing eBay, I don't care if you're doing Amazon, or I don't care if you're selling in yard sales. Like, if you are overloaded and you think you could make more money, you should probably look at bringing on some help.
And you got to understand your goals may not be the same as ours. Our goal from day one was to work ourselves out of a job, out of our business, and be able, and we knew that meant other people. You have to hire people. You have to, it may not be that for you. It may be something where, you just want a steady source of, income, but you want to still be hands-on and you enjoy, and that's fine. But our aspirations from the very beginning were to, remove ourselves and have a self-sustaining business. And at that point, we decided sooner rather than later that we're going to have to start getting people and processes and other things involved, because that's where we want to go. Now that you don't have to, like, our model still works, and the way we source and the things that we do can work on whatever scale that you're comfortable or wherever you want to go with it, really.
So I wanted to share a little bit of a success story based on what we're talking about tonight about wholesale, and going from what I'm doing to what the boys are doing. So my good friend Cheryl, who lives just around the corner from me, she worked for one of the big corporations here in town that do special events. They laid off about 8 or 9% of their workforce a few years back, and unfortunately she was in that. Now at that point we weren't friends, didn't know each other. Season 1 of my TV show Thrift Hunters had just aired, and we were getting ready to go off to film season 2, and I had just lost my assistant, and I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And Cheryl was introduced to me, and I said, I need an assistant for the summer because I got to be filming around the country and I need help. And she's like, well, I want to learn how to sell. I just lost my job. I think I could do this, but I need I need someone to help. So, and I said, perfect, you're hired. So I paid her to learn on the job, really. And we trained for like 2 weeks, and I'm like, I'm out here. See you. Good luck. So she had to run my office. And at the end of that summer, she got me through what I needed because I was on the road constantly for months. And she's like, all right, I can't stay, Jay, because of course you can't pay me enough, to pay my mortgage and to pay my car. And so she went off on her own, and she transitioned from just thrifting and selling on eBay into starting to do some retail arbitrage, and then transitioned into wholesale and even making her own products. And I watched her go from, I think I got to borrow a few bucks from mom this month, and she's an adult woman like me, not a young kid. To borrow some money from mom to pay the bills, but that was a couple of years ago. And now she went from this crazy hectic, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this, but working her ass off to, I see her life now kind of a lot smoother, and she's done it. She has went from thrifting to retail arbitrage to wholesale, and she's not at the level of you boys, but she's getting up there to where all the bills are paid. She has money in her pocket. She can start to do normal life, enjoyable things like take a vacation, do whatever. But she hustled and she worked her ass off. So she's a prime example that it can absolutely be done, and it can be done by one person. Now she's got some friends and she does some things with people, but for the most part, it's just her. It's her and her 1-bedroom condo with 1 parking spot.
And Cheryl was, I'll be honest with you, Cheryl was an awesome student. We actually got to meet her. It was so awesome when we got to meet her in Vegas. You're right, man. She just came in and she was super determined to make it work. And she put the work in, and it was awesome. She told us about this, she'd ask us like, hey, did I do this right? Am I looking at this right? Is this, how would you guys approach this manufacturer? And she was, she asked a lot of questions. But that's the thing, is our community is so supportive of that, and they all, everybody's going through it together.
I tell you, it's when I met Cheryl in person, hearing that story in person, it was to tears.
And it legit brought tears to our eyes.
Like, when you even hearing it, it's still difficult to fathom the effect that, because you put it out and it's like, that people are making some changes and doing some moves, but when you hear something that you've affected somebody's lives, it's still to this, it's tough to. It's hard to understand and comprehend. It really is.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I feel you. People have been following me and learning from me, and I've been teaching people for a long time. And so when people reach out and say, hey, Jay, because of you, I kept the power on. The first time that happened to me, I was at an event. And at that time, I've been teaching on Facebook, but it wasn't like this big thing that I kind of do now. But just from tips and tricks and bolos I had been sharing.
Hey, Cheryl. She's in the chat.
Hey, Cheryl. This woman was able to keep the power on their house. And so when I first started sharing online, I didn't know I was doing that because It wasn't a plan, And she found me at an event I was speaking at, and she came up and she hugged me, started crying, and told me that because of what she learned from me, she kept the power on, and I didn't know I was doing that.
Right.
I had no clue, and it really touched me. I'm like, oh, I like that warm feeling. I want to do more of that. I want to help more people because it became yes, I have my business where I make my own money, but it became also about helping people and watching others grow it. And Cheryl's a prime example where she went from little baby nothing to she's making more than me, well more than me now. And that's kicker. I mean, I don't even.
She's a stone ass kicker, man.
She is amazing.
It's funny because you see those things, and it's like, when somebody posts it in your group, obviously we're super proud of them. Like, we're super proud when somebody's like, hey, man, I hit my sales goal this month. First time I've ever done $30,000 in a month. Or first time, we had a couple people hit 100K. And it's like, yeah, it's awesome. And we're super excited. But when you meet somebody in person, it is a completely different experience. And, honestly, that's been one of the things that's been one of the most the most touching things that really made me extremely passionate about what we do was that situation, was truly meeting people and understanding how you the impact you've had.
Yeah, it's quite amazing, and it's very rewarding, and that's something that I didn't know I was setting out to do in my life. And and it all goes back to, I thank God I got fired from that job. Because of that, I ended up living in LA for 4 years, having a blast. I've been in Vegas for 12 years and thoroughly enjoy it. I have all these friends that I probably would never have had that job kept moving, because I really enjoyed the job. But because I got laid off and unemployment was running out, and my wife got a job offer to go to California, I'm like, let's go. I can escape Cleveland before another winter. Let's get the hell out of here.
Yes.
But because of losing that job, I think my life is much richer now with all my friends I have and the businesses I have, and it's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, that's amazing stuff. But I know that we're getting like close up against the time. So if you got another question or two, if anybody wants to ask, if not, make sure you get that link back up, Jason.
Yeah. So let me talk about the video, because I did watch the first one, and these guys didn't just run around their office shooting themselves with their camera, their phone. It's a real legit. They hired some team to do it because it looks really nice.
Thanks.
Now, parts of it are like watching The Bachelor. I saw you standing on that rock and gazing over the lake. but it's good. I mean, because it sounds good. And what I liked, and here's what because we had a lot of new people in the audience tonight that didn't know these terms, so we had to explain them. But here's what I liked about the first video. You guys went really slow, and you went through terms that were very simplistic to understand. You weren't throwing jargon out there, because I can tell. Like, I mean, I know the jargon, but I can tell when people are just – I watch Chris Green speak, and he gets so into it that at the end somebody goes, wait, what are all those terms?
Right.
Because he's into it. But you guys definitely did this video where anyone could watch and follow the bouncing ball very easily to understand what you're talking about and how you did it.
Yeah, we're very proud of that, and like I said, it's and just watch it even if you don't really have any interest in wholesale at all. If you want to sell on Amazon in any capacity, it's got some great information on there on how to product analysis, explaining buy boxes, explaining all these intricacies of the Amazon platform, and it's completely free. Give it a watch. You have to look at his ugly mug a little throughout there, but we try to voice over most of it that way.
I mean,
spare them the.
We try. You get to see his Fabio shots of standing on a rock.
Yeah, it's
in his kayak.
It's difficult to watch. I'll be honest. I still can't watch this stuff. It's so awkward. But
yeah. Well, I gave you a little shit, and I'll give Dan a little shit. Dan, undo your top button. Relax, buddy. Enjoy life. What are you doing, button in your top? Come on.
I don't wear polos, man. Like.
So you didn't know to relax a little? Are you the kind of guy that tucks in a Hawaiian shirt when he goes on vacation?
Yes. Sandals and socks.
I'm not a sandals and socks guy. Those are weird, man.
But no, it's really, really well done. It looked really nice, and I was thoroughly impressed and enjoyed the fact that you guys went very easy to understand and slow. It wasn't fast. It wasn't like, okay, you're going to do this, and you're going to do that, do this. You guys really kind of moved it at the pace that anyone that is new to it can tune in and really, really understand it.
That's great feedback. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely tried. I mean, it was, I realize how frustrating it can be, and sometimes this guy has to slow me down because I'm bad for it too. Like I get excited. I'm excited about what I do. Like I love talking about it. I love sharing it. And sometimes I'll start with the jargon. So we did really concentrate on trying to make it, as friendly as possible.
And if anyone knows me, look, all of you guys are watching out. You probably know me pretty well. If I thought it sucked, I would have told them.
Yeah.
I never hold my tongue, sometimes to my detriment. But yeah, if that video was crappy, they would have been hearing about it. But no, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and it got me a little excited. I don't do wholesale. I don't really need it in my life right now, but it got me like, man, maybe I should watch a second video. If I can add a couple products in, because that's my thought process. Like I have my kids in 1,000 things. But if I can have them in 1,000 things, and even if it's not one major thing, but they're all earning me revenue, then why not?
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. It can do. It's just a model. You can build it to scale that you'd like. Whether it's the 1/64 scale Matchbox car, full scale like we are, or
the Ford Raptor,
or the Ford Raptor scale.
Yeah,
whatever.
Somebody gave me shit that's not a truck. Oh yeah, what? Let's go. Bring your truck. Let's race.
Yeah, nice.
Or you'll run over it.
Exactly. I'll crush you like a little bug. Well, guys, thank you very much for hanging out with us tonight. Watch the video. Check it out, guys. Excuse me. I'm obviously always around the thrifting board. You got any questions about what you saw tonight? Both boys are in the thrifting board. They're happy to answer any questions. Anytime I tag Dan, he's quick to hop in. So we will not leave you out there hanging. However, I'm on my way out the door to go see a Broadway musical, so I will not be around tonight.
Nice.
So for me tonight, you will not see me. I'll be at Motown singing. I heard it through the grapevine. So
beautiful. That's nice.
When I get back, I will definitely be. I know you're kidding, Josh. I see Josh like, oh, just kidding, Jay. I'm just kidding about the truck. When I get back tonight, if there's any questions, and I saw a lot of questions tonight. We can get through all of them. But if you watch these videos, I guarantee you a lot of the questions that were asked tonight will be answered by the video. So,
and we would have done a much worse job answering them. I promise.
Yeah, some producer held their feet to the fire, so it's much easier to watch the videos and get the answers.
Exactly.
But as always, man, it's been an absolute pleasure. Slap that link up one last time.
Yeah. And then am I going to see you guys in a couple months for a party or what?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. That's a great idea.
I mean, we'll definitely try to come out there and at least hang out.
Yeah, because I know a lot of people are coming out for ASD, and ASD goes right into the Prosper show, which is another type show. So I know I have some friends who are going to be stuck in Vegas for like 8 straight days. So to break up the monotony of convention, we will be hanging out and having a good time all over this great city because if nothing else, I know the insides and outsides and back doors of everything in Vegas.
Sounds dope, man.
Heck yes. So gonna close off the recording here.